Okay. All right. What's up? Eugene Hotel. Eugene Hotel. Let me make sure. Is this thing, we going? You know, I'm on the road, little hotel situation here. So hopefully this is all goes smoothly and the internet's working and you can see me and all of that. It says I'm live. Am I actually live? If the video doesn't start, then it doesn't really count. Let's see here. Is it going through? Is it going through? That was a grand entrance for a whole lot of nothing.
Because I'm live?
Yep.
Am I actually
I'm
live?
good. It just takes a little while to get through. All right, now I see it. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Brandon Aiyuk signed. You know, if only anybody could have predicted that he'd be around $30 million a year. It's like literally every projection was, I'd probably be around 30, now, as we know, the average annual value is one thing. The guaranteed money is something else. A 4-year extension, it makes so much sense for a guy who is as young as Aiyuk is. It's going to be less than 30 years old. So we got 5 more years on his deal. Still plays for 14 this year and then plays for 4 years after that on this deal. But as we know, even these deals don't, it's not totally going to, it'll get reworked again if things are going well. Mike Garafolo on Thursday afternoon, he and Rap Sheet, 4-year, 120, $76 million in guarees. You got to tag the agent. I don't know who the source was, but we'll tag the agent in the tweet. That's the way business is done now. I don't know who the source is, but we'll tag the agent. That's fine. I'm not. That's the way it is. Good job to these guys. Don't take that the wrong way. And then he's got a photo from Ryan Williams, Aiyuk's agent, has FaceTiming with Brandon Aiyuk, smiling, and they got it done. You know, we've talked about this a lot. Like, for whatever reason, sometimes in these deals, stuff doesn't happen until everybody's at wit's end. And it felt like that John Lynch had kind of had enough, that Kyle Shanahan, you know, it's less about him, it's more about Lynch, but that Shanahan had enough. I don't know if Aiyuk had enough, but, you know, at some point you look up and go, this is pretty good. I know there'd been some reporting in the last week that things were close, very close. The 4th year, the last year, Kawakami had said that, you know, a couple of weeks ago. How different is this than you know, has been out there for a little while? As the news breaks and I'm away from home base, I don't have my full computer set up here. I have to put some trust in the chat, but Sean says that Schefter said it's the same deal the Niners made on August 10th. All right. I mean, you know, the difference between August 10th and August 29th is that CeeDee Lamb hadn't signed yet. I think I understood the logic if you were Aiyuk wanting to wait and see what CeeDee Lamb got. You know, I think we still have to wait and see. We still have to wait and see what the exact guarantees are, right? When Garafolo says contract extension with $76 million in guarantees, that usually doesn't mean fully guaranteed. That's usually the total guarantee. And I think for a player of Aiyuk's age, depending on how it's structured, but you end up making a lot of that money. $76 million in total guarantees is right there next to Amon-Ra St. Brown's total guarantee. It's Jalen Waddle's total guarantee. Only DJ Moore, AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson would have a higher total guarantee. Now, what is the full guarantee? Here we go. Ian Rappaport, $47 million between now and April 1, 2025. So it's at least that much, right? A full guarantee. That's a big chunk of change. That is pretty in line with what is receiver money, with the exception of the outlier Justin Jefferson deal. CeeDee Lamb got 67 full guarantee. Tyreek is 54, AJ Brown's 51, Calvin Ridley's 46.9. This was the part of the deal where Amon-Ra was much lower, was the full guarantee. Amon-Ra St. Brown's number was 34.6. And when you consider how much more money Brandon Aiyuk was making on the fifth-year option, he's around 14 million, and Amon-Ra's making whatever was going to make this year $2 million. I remember Josh Dubow said a while ago from the AP, and Amon-Ra not on the fifth-year option, but he said you expected that Aiyuk would want about $12 million more than Amon-Ra. Well, Aiyuk got about, if the $47 million is all that's fully guaranteed, that's about $12 million more than Amon-Ra St. Brown. So, it's it's the contract you would have predicted, probably. A lot of people did predict. Speaking of predictions, I've been holding off on this, but we have to now revisit my original prediction. Some of you may remember what my original prediction was. I've got it here, February 22nd, 2024. Here we go. Let's hear what I said.
My prediction is that Brandon Aiyuk will play on the fifth-year option, and I think he knows it. Here's my percentages. I think there's a 75% chance that Brandon Aiyuk plays on his fifth-year option. I think there's a 17% chance they extend him. I think there's an 8% chance they trade him. They don't want to trade him.
All right, so there I am. February 22nd, 2024. 76% trade of fifth-year option. Wrong. Stamp it. Wrong. There were a few moments where I thought, ooh, might be right. But wrong. And you know what? Wrong about that. I guess technically I'm right. He's playing on the fifth-year option because that's what he's playing on this year. But I was wrong at that point in time. And I think it became clear a while ago that they would want to extend him. They would have to extend him. It would be in their best interest to extend him. And they did extend him. So, I was looking the other day at Brock Purdy's average depth of target. Like when you go look at the offense with Brandon Aiyuk off the field and Brandon Aiyuk on the field, what you see is, like a completion percentage that's actually a little higher with Aiyuk off the field. You see 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. You see what appears to be more efficiency, but what is actually an offense that's less dynamic. The average depth of target without Aiyuk drops by at least a couple of yards, if not more. So it's an offense without him that functions in the way that some other Shanahan offenses have functioned, where you just get the ball to your playmakers around the line of scrimmage, and the quarterback is going to have a high completion percentage, and you're probably not going to make many mistakes, but you're also not going to be able to get the ball down the field quickly, and it's going to be efficient. But it's just not going to be, I'm going to see if I can pull up some of these numbers while we're talking, but it's just not going to be the best. It's not going to be the most dynamic offense. And so what you see when Aiyuk is on the field, you see an offense that appears in some ways, well, the completion percentage goes down a little bit for Brock Purdy, and the explosion goes up, and I got asked a lot over the last several months, like, can they win without him? And my answer was, yes. It'll have to be different. It'll be harder. Let me see here. I just got a text. No, that's not correct. Hold on. I'm texting somebody about the guarantee. Let's see if we get an update on that. And I'm kind of checking things out here on social. Just seeing what else is. Well, he's not a Steeler, and he didn't get traded for Zay Jones. He almost got traded. Well, he didn't almost get traded to the Browns because he wasn't going to go to the Browns. Here's a tweet from Diana Rossini. In the end, it was all a massive waste of 3 months. There was obviously no plan here from either side. Lots of NFL executives around the league have shared over this time that if you vacillate that much, you really don't know what you want. Akash Anavarathan, who I like, Niner guy, says Amon-Ra, 4 years, 120, 77 guaranteed. Aiyuk, 4 years, 120, 76 guaranteed total. St. Brown had 34.6. Aiyuk has at least 47. And maybe it's more. So we'll see. It's at least 12 and a half more, which I got to give it to Dubau. I got to send him a message. He called it on this YouTube. He called it. He said he is going to want $12 million more than Amon-Ra. So anyway, people would ask like, hey, do you think that they can win without him? My answer was, yes, they can, but it's not the best way to try and win. There was nothing that was going to make them better right now. There was nothing they can do from a trade standpoint that was as good as keeping this guy around. By the way, streaming here on a hotspot, not the hotel Wi-Fi. Let me know does it look good? Does it sound good? I'll check it later, but just want to make sure you're getting the quality that you've become accustomed to. The other reason this made so much sense is that when you look at and I'll repeat something I've said for a long time, when you look at the ages of the other skill players on this team, the one who is most likely to ride shotgun with Brock Purdy into Brock Purdy's time is Brandon Aiyuk, just based on his age. Now, the question is going to become, does this guarantee that Debo is gone next year? Many people say yes. I don't believe that's the case, but we'll see. I think Debo, for the second year in a row, looks like he's in great shape. Debo's going to approach this year like it is a contract year because he understands. He knows what the situation is. He knows that the Niners can get out relatively cheaply from his deal next year. And so Debo has to be looking at this like either he's playing for somebody else to pay him, to acquire him, or he's playing to put the 49ers in a position where they decide, you know what, we're going to save our money somewhere else because this guy is impossible to get rid of. We can't get rid of him. So I don't think it's a stone cold lock that Debo's gone. And I don't, I felt that way before when we assumed that Aiyuk would be coming back. I'm just scrolling through some more takes here. Mike Silver, the 49ers will get overtures regarding Debo Samuel between now and the trade deadline. Right now, highly unlikely they'd trade him. Early November, depends on a lot of things. I don't see it. Depends on a lot of things. I would say if they suck, they would trade him. But if they're going to be a playoff team, there was no reason to trade Brandon Aiyuk before the trade deadline. They suck. That would be the thing that, to me, it depends on. Other than that, we saw what happened last season. Brandon Ayuk's the same player. Debo Samuel's the same player. This last year was actually, 6 months ago. It wasn't that long ago. The idea that suddenly is Debo potentially off the team in 2025? Yeah. Does it make sense to me to jump ahead to move Debo? I mean, are you getting a left tackle for him? Does your offensive line have a hole you need to plug and you can get a left tackle for Debo or a right tackle? Okay, but are you going to get a top 10 pick for him? Why would somebody acquire Debo if they're a bad football team? Well, you know, like why? Like, so it doesn't make any sense. Mike Silver. I mean, Mike doesn't make like Mike. The wheels are turning, but I don't see that. But that's going to be a storyline now, I guess. Do they try to get something for Debo early? I just see a guy who was so valuable to them trying to win a championship with Aiyuk, with Kittle, with McCaffrey, that you still need him. I mean, that is going to be a problem if he's not on the team in 2025. He's been multiple times the savior of the 49ers offense. Now you hope the offense evolves. For that to happen, Brock Purdy has to keep improving and be the type of quarterback that can elevate, not just follow Kyle Shanahan's script, but elevate Kyle Shanahan's game plan. But to me, the same thing that we've said for a long time about Brandon Aiyuk in a trade applies to Debo Samuel in a trade. The difference between trading him at the trade deadline and trading him before the draft is before the draft, you get a pick you can use right then. So the only reason to do it around the deadline is to get a player back. You know, this thing doesn't quite, I got a few super chats here I want to hit. Let's see. Oh, well, I scroll for super chats. I'll just tell you what I'm up to. I'm in Eugene, Oregon. The Sherry's Cafe and Pies is right across the street. And I'm here for a football game on Saturday. The Oregon Ducks, number 3 team in the nation, taking on the Idaho Vandals. That game's at 4:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network. All right, I want to get a few super chats here before I lose them. Double B Studio says, can they pay Trent now? Where does this leave the O-line? Yes, I don't think it changes anything for Trent. I mean, I think Trent's asking for a ton. I think he wants 3 years guaranteed. I think people have kind of said that. Or maybe somebody has not kind of said it, but actually said it. But Trent Williams wants a lot of money. Part of trying to win a championship this year is having Trent Williams and having Brandon Aiyuk and having Debo Samuel and Brock Purdy improving. You know, all those things. There will be a time to choose where you have to start kind of choosing, but that time is not right now. There was another super. Where did this go? 7 TDs for 30 mil. Step up, said Steve-O. You know, I remember years ago when I was doing radio, hearing Greg Papa say something about, I don't even remember who, a baseball player maybe? And he said, just because you pay a guy doesn't mean he changes. When you pay a player, he doesn't change. Now, Aiyuk is of an age where, and I've said this kind of early in the Aiyuk thing, I'm trying to you're kind of recapping all these different takes and applying the ones that apply now. But I think Aiyuk is 1 year away, not this year, but I think 2025 is really when he's going to put up big numbers. It could happen this year, but I think he is really going to hit his prime here coming up soon. His age prime, right? Aiyuk's going to hit his age prime coming up soon. And I think I think his best statistical years are ahead of him here. His best statistical years are ahead of him. So I see we may be having some connection issues here on the, as I see, I get a little message. So hopefully it's okay for you guys. But, and what does that mean? Does that mean 7 touchdowns? Does that mean 12 touchdowns? Does that mean 90 catches instead of 70 catches? I think this does a few things for the team. First of all, it takes pressure off of Ricky Pearsall. Now, at no point was Ricky Pearsall going to be the guy that was going to replace Brandon Aiyuk and his production this year. And the odds are, I would say, very low. Like, what are the odds that Ricky Pearsall becomes a Brandon Aiyuk level player? I would say 10%, which is high. Like, think of all the first round. It's not high, but it's not bad. But the real answer is he doesn't need to be a Brandon Aiyuk level player. Why? Because they have Brandon Aiyuk. So that's the beauty. It takes pressure off of Brock Purdy, right? He and Brock have a good relationship, although they have not thrown at all in a long time. So they need to kind of get back on the same page. Now, with Ricky Pearsall's recent injury history, let me turn this fan off. With Ricky Pearsall's recent injury issues, I think we got to kind of pump the brakes even on what I just said. Like, he just got to be healthy. But if he can be healthy, he's a compliment. He's a compliment now, and he's a compliment in 2025, and in 2026, and in 27. And that makes it, some people will say, you shouldn't be drafting a compliment in the first round. I say if he's a good player and he's a compliment, he's a useful player. If it's him and Jennings and Aiyuk, like, if he's a 50 catch guy, a 60 catch guy, and Aiyuk's got 90, that's a hit. But he's got to be healthy. Now we get to Cowing, who has been really impressive in a short amount of time. And the same can be said for him. You know, I think one thing that makes it really hard, has made it really hard, if you're Ronnie Bell, if you're Danny Gray, is to be the guy who doesn't get fed, but has to be ready at a moment's notice. And that's why Chris Conley's really stood out on this team, because when they need him in a big spot, Chris Conley is there to make a play. And I think I see some of those traits in Jacob Cowing, a guy who's just going to be ready to roll with limited opportunity. And the beauty is, because he can punt return, and Pearsall can too, because he can punt return, you're never going to get a guy who is just straight cold coming off the bench, right? One of the issues with Danny Gray was that when you put him in the game, he was ice cold. He wasn't doing anything else. When you try to go to Ronnie Bell, I mean, he's punt returning, but you don't really want him punt returning. And so here you got a guy with Cowing who, I don't know how many routes to run. I think week one will be interesting. He might, it's Thursday. We're a week and a half from the Niners opener. I don't think Brandon Aiyuk is playing every snap in this game. Joel Corey, welcome to the Deebo Samuel. He's the one of the big salary cap guys on the internet. From CBS Sports, he said, welcome to the Deebo Samuel farewell tour. I've always thought either Samuel or Aiyuk would be with the Niners in 25, not both. Niners save $9 million in salary cap space by trading Aiyuk in 25. It's a $24 million cap number versus $15 million in dead money. Yeah, so there'll be a lot of Brandon Aiyuk's agent, Ryan Williams, posted on Instagram, man, there may never be another one quite like this. I hope not. I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm not sure that I've seen one like it. Very weird. Very weird. Well, the bad news for Aiyuk is he doesn't get to be a part of the Steelers quarterback competition. Oh, yeah, you're right, Schefter. This is the same deal that's been on the table since August 10th, per league sources. His hold-in did not alter any part of the new 4-year extension. He took the same deal that's been there for 3 weeks. That's what Schefter wrote, August 10. I mean, why? You know, you got to let you know who won and who. Nobody lost. The guy got 40. He's getting at least 40. He's getting $47 million in the next year, guaranteed. He won. He won. Like, you can win and the player can win. Everybody can win. You did a deal you wanted. You got the player. You got Aiyuk. He's a good player. He gets $47 million guaranteed to him. Everybody wins. Just let it be. Let it be everybody wins. Luke says Lenore's not going to be any cheaper. He's about to ball out. He's going to ask for top cornerback money. Yeah, I mean, that would be another part of the Debo argument. It's like, and Kyle Shanahan, I don't know, he doesn't talk like this a lot, but he did say back in training camp that keeping Mooney Ward and Deommodore Lenore was important. And he kind of even understood, like, it's not going to be easy. He wanted to see what Lamb got first. Yeah, I mean, there's something to that, 100%. Like, we've been talking about that for months, that it would make sense. Each of those guys probably wants to see the other guy sign. Now you turn your attention to kind of the same thing that happened last year with Bosa, which is, Bosa had a couple times where he'd go down, you'd be like, oh, is he okay? Soft tissue, especially at this time, ramp up time. You don't want to go 0 to 60 at this point. So especially like Monday Night Football, just everyone gets a little extra jacked up for prime time. Now you got to protect them. Now the work starts, which is he's got to get on the field, be healthy, stay healthy, not try to get it all back at once. Comment here. I bet Huff and Ward are gone. Sign Lenore. Be cheaper. Mustafa and Brown going to be elite. Yeah, it's a big year for Talanoa Hufanga, personally, I think. Because when the second the Niners drafted Jair Brown, you started thinking about they're looking for a replacement. And the same with Mustafa, right? Like, if those two guys can play together, then it's pretty likely for Hufanga. Comment: If Brock takes less than $60 million, his agent should be fired. Brock is underpaid by $50 million per year. The Niners are the ones who should be grateful for Brock. First of all, agree. They should be grateful for Brock. They got him with pick 262. They should be very grateful for Brock. The way that thing worked out is really once in a lifetime. To trade three ones for a quarterback, have that guy bust, and then get his replacement at pick 262 and have that guy be better. It's just, I mean, when you draft a guy at 262, you're not getting his replacement. You're just getting some guy that you kind of like. That said, is it going to take $60 million next year for Brock? That feels about right, but I would also say this. When a guy's making $1 million, there's a couple ways to look at it. One is, oh, you owe me, and I think agents feel this way, which is you just got me really cheap for a long time. So it's time for me to make that money back. The other way to look at it is, I'd like 62, but 55 is pretty significant. I'm going to get more than that. Right, more than Aiyuk's 47. I'll get whatever, 110, 98, whatever it is, within a year. Life-changing. I mean, life-changing beyond wide receiver, life-changing money. So if 55 is the number instead of 61, okay. Like, to me, I wouldn't be shocked by that. But I mean, as we know with these quarterback deals, the second you do one and it's the biggest quarterback deal out there, it becomes the 7th biggest quarterback deal out there within a year. So, comment, this was big time stupid. This was something. Michael with a comment. Dutch Bros, black coffee, wild, cold brew, extra ice. I said medium. They said it's 24 ounces. I said, great. The sun will be up for 4 more hours. Give me that. I think Brock's deal next year will be drama free. Drama low. Comment, the Niners caved for a wide receiver. You think they're going to play hardball with Brock because he has a year left on a 7th round pick? I don't see cave. I see win-win. So, hey, before I go any further, let's tell you real quick about CIRCA Sports. Right now, you got time. NFL season a week away. Head to CIRCA Sports and enter the CIRCA Million contest and the CIRCA Survivor contest. $10 million in guarantees in the CIRCA Million contest. Sorry, $6 million in guarantees in CIRCA Million. You pick 5 games a week against the spread. And there's also quarterly prizes in the CIRCA Million. And last place gets $100,000. Then there's CIRCA Survivor. That is 1 pick a week, straight up. That's $10 million guaranteed to the winner or winners. You can't use the same team twice. Last year, 4 winners split the $9+ million pot. So 20-0, whoever goes undefeated the longest. Each contest, $1,000 to enter. You go to Nevada to enter. I got some DMs from some of you who went to Vegas this last weekend and did it. But you go to Nevada to enter. You sign up there. You sign up with a proxy there. And then you play from anywhere. For more information, go to circasports.com and click on contest, circasports.com and click on contest. My one beef with this Aiyuk signing, actually, I know this isn't a beef. It came before Colorado football played, North Dakota State. Right now it's 4:30. For those of you listening to this podcast, it's happening at 4:30 on a Thursday. Colorado plays North Dakota State at 5. Now, I did learn this week that I'm doing Idaho, Oregon. Idaho is an FCS team. Oregon's an FBS team. The FBS level of football, the highest level of college football, has helmet communications, just like the NFL. Green dot, middle linebacker usually, quarterback, 15 seconds on the play clock, it cuts out. Well, the FCS level of football doesn't have that. So when teams from the FCS play teams from the FBS level, they can choose to use helmet communications. But as you know, most of these FCS programs are not swimming in cash. So I don't know exactly what the number is, but I'm told it's a significant investment. Well, North Dakota State spent the money for helmet communication systems just to use this one game against Colorado. Now, Montana State did not do it last Friday, and they beat New Mexico. Idaho is not doing it against Oregon. But anyway, I think Weber State is not doing it against Washington on Saturday. So just something to keep in mind as you're watching college football. How long do you think it will take Trent Williams to sign? Matt asks. I think it has to happen very soon. Now that Aiyuk is done, especially, I don't know if one was related to the other. I have not thought that one was related to the other, but when you're trying to figure out how much guaranteed money you're going to cut, maybe they are related. Maybe the Niners, maybe Jed York wanted to know, okay, what is Aiyuk going to cost? He's the guy that's going to be here longer. And then after we know that, then we can know, what we're comfortable with I got something for you in a second. And then we can know what they're comfortable with Trent Williams. So Andrew Filipponi, who covers the Pittsburgh Steelers for 93.7 The Fan and had tweeted a lot about Aiyuk over the course of this. And this is I buy this. And the reason I buy this is because I'll just tell you. He just posted, unless the Steelers offer change at the very end, the Steelers offer to Brandon Aiyuk was a 4-year, $128 million deal. So, What's that? $2 million, 2 million more a year, 32 in theory, not knowing what the guaranteed money was. That is higher than I'd heard it was. That is, again, not knowing the guarantee, but that's in line with like what the Patriots offer was, certainly what the Browns offer was going to be. I had heard that the Steelers offer was actually closer to the Niners offer than that, but that's what he's saying. So it's just interesting that deal, I don't know that deal could have ever happened because there was nothing there that would have made sense for the Niners. I'm just looking through some comments here, everybody. Glad it's done. Yeah. Yes. Glad it's done. It's not all good, though. Let's see. He's got to start the year well, right? I mean, maybe it matters less so for him now that he got his money, but what you'd hate to see is for it to affect their ability to win games early in the year. Can they get off to a fast start? They should be able to on paper, but what if Aiyuk is playing 70% of the snaps? What if he's playing 75% of the snaps week 1 and week 2? What if he's playing 80%? Week 2, short week. By the way, you can go to heyguy.co if you want to see I've got a Niner schedule that I make for myself. I've made this for myself the last few years, sharing it with you now just because why not? Week 2, it's so small on my screen right now. But they're playing a short week 2 on the road. So yeah, Monday Night Football, short week 2 on the road, and then another road game right at the Vikings, and then another road game at the Rams. So whatever. I mean, NFL travel, you hop on a plane, you come back home. But it's travel for a guy whose body will be taxed a little more here in this next week and a half than it has been. And even though if he's working out, it's still different than didn't get any reps in a preseason game, has not practiced with the team. So you hope he can start fast. You hope he can stay healthy. If you want this schedule, you can have it for the price of faux free on the house. Not that anybody would charge for a homemade schedule like this anyway. But just go to heyguy.co. Heyguy.co. Where's that QR code? Or you can scan the QR code on the screen. But heyguy.co, and then just click on 49ers schedule. There's a tab there. And it'll give you a link, and it's just a PDF that you can download. And you might think, why do you want the schedule? I don't know. I made it. I'm sharing it. But it's got the Niners. It's got all the primetime game designations, and it has all the schedule rules on it, when they can flex Monday, when they can flex Sunday, when they can flex Thursday. And it has the rest differential. So there's a number next to under every Niners opponent. It tells you who the Niners opponent just played. And so are they coming off a bye? Are they coming off a road trip? Are they coming off a tough game in Philly? Or whatever. And the rest differential on the game for the Niners. So that's all there. If you want it, just go to heyguy.co. Just sharing it. Just being a good dude. Being a man of the people. Aiyuk was getting open in the Super Bowl, says Eric. Purdy just wasn't finding him. Yeah, look, I think Aiyuk was pretty frustrated about what happened in the Super Bowl. Pretty frustrated about how little he got the ball. Some of that was the plays that were called, but some of that was Purdy not getting it to him. Purdy missing him, blocking. It was all those factors. Is that why this thing dragged out the way it dragged out? I don't know. Were there some frustrations aired by him maybe that stemmed from that. Did it get a little contentious because of that internally? Yeah, it did. Is there any, I said a long time ago that if one day he decides to sign their deal, they would do it. But they would also need to make sure everybody got in a room. I don't know if cleared the air is the word, but just got on the same page. So maybe they already did that. Maybe that's to come. Everybody, Kyle Shanahan and Brandon Aiyuk don't have to be best friends, but they're going to be together for a while now. They're going to be together for a while. So it'd be good for them to find a way to put all this behind them. They don't have to, but all I'm saying is it's easy after a deal gets signed to look back on everything as just theater, as imaginary people just playing the game. And now that the contract gets signed, it all just disappears. When the reality is it's still humans dealing with other humans. And they should talk. And hopefully they already have, but they should talk. I guess if you're a player, when they start talking like they talked the last couple of days, you go, all right, okay, I'll take the $47 million. Let me just do a little refresh here to see if there's been any further reporting on the total guarantee, the full guarantee.
Brandon Aiyuk.
Clicked on a little Steelers radio there. I guess it's, quote, the Steelers have one of the worst receiver rooms in all of football, and it's going to stay that way. All right. Let's see. Any new reporting before we'll see. I mean, it's Thursday. We'll see Friday probably. It's usually the way these go. It's like it goes a couple days. It's 120. It's 47. It's 76. And then we get the real number after a day or two and everybody kind of chills out. So is that 2 trade requests now that the Niners have dealt with in the last 3 years and haven't granted? I think it's 2. Two trade demands. I demand a trade. Well, no trade. Again, just like Debo. Trade demands in the Niners do not go hand in hand. Aiyuk will now practice. That's great. The Warriors and Steph Curry have agreed on a 1-year, $62.6 million extension. Woj bomb. Real Woj, $6.5 million. Got to check. 1 year, $62.5. Every time somebody does a contract, you're like, oh, that's a big contract. Go look at Jaylen Brown's money. Well, go watch Jaylen Brown's music video. Just do it. Trust me. Go watch Jaylen Brown's music video. Then go look at Jaylen Brown's contract. Because you watch that video, like, why did nobody say don't know? Then you go look at the money, you're like, oh, that's why. This guy's got, whatever, $252 million coming to him. Like, it's quarterback money. It's crazy quarterback money. It's ridiculous quarterback. It's crazy. Go look at Jaylen Brown's contract right now. You know what? I'm going to do it. Jaylen Brown. Just because it's in July 2023, he's on a 5-year extension worth up to $303 million. It's officially worth $286 over 5 years. Like, I don't know about this music video. It's like, yeah, well, let's see. I just got $49 million in cash. Guaranteed cash. That's what he's got coming to him this year, Jaylen Brown. 25-26, he's got $53 million in guaranteed cash. 26-27, he's got $57 million in guaranteed cash. 27-28, he has $61 million in guaranteed cash. And in 28-29, he has $65 million in guaranteed cash coming to him. If I had that much guaranteed cash coming into me, I'd probably make music videos too. Nobody would be able to tell me, like, I don't know, guy, your voice is not great. So, anyway, all right, man. I wish I could do some Colorado, North Dakota State reaction. Anyway, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. You know, hopefully for those of you listening, a little live reaction show is still you got something out of it. And yeah, check out the other thing on HeyGuy.co. You can check out my football schedule if you care about that. Oregon, Idaho this week, USC next week, Nebraska the week after. That's what I know right now. Okay, everybody. Thanks for hanging. Hope the feed was good. And